Hello again, and today we're going to talk about how to choose fonts for your website. Now, to choose fonts for your websites, we're going to be using Google Fonts, which is a super nice, robust platform to find fonts. So we're just going to go on there right now, fonts.google.com. Here's your open page. So what Google has done is it's collected a whole bunch of fonts for us to look at and to choose. That are all open license, which means we can use them for our commercial sites and for our personal sites without having to worry about legal problems. So Google Fonts is a very nice resource to go to, both for the legal reasons and because these fonts are easily accessible and high quality. So here we have a list of fonts here, and each of these boxes has a display for how the font looks. But we're going to tailor this so that we know exactly what we need from each font. So if you know exactly what font you want, you can just search it, super easy. But if you don't, then we're going to have to look and determine what fonts look the best. So there's a number of display options to look at your fonts. My personal favorite is I go to custom, and then I'm going to type like my site name or what I'm usually going to be seeing from the site. So now I'm running a bagel shop. I'm going to do that, and then also I'm going to type in some extra characters to make sure this font has the characters that I need, or the glyphs that I need. So sometimes when people write fonts, they only write letters or a few punctuation or maybe some numbers, but sometimes they don't have everything. So for example, I'll make sure, so we have Rebecca's Bagels, I'm going to make sure they have numbers. I want to make sure that they have a $sign. Maybe one of those, parentheses, and I'm going to do some emails. And so then I just make sure, now because I have all of this, I know just going forward that these characters are there. So, for example, if you look at David Libre, there's a little box where that @ symbol should be, and that means David Libre does not have a character for that symbol. So I know that, oh, I don't want to use David Libre because it doesn't have all the symbols that I need. So I can just automatically, without having to research more into it, I know exactly that I don't want to use that font. So I have that going. Then I can choose from categories. This gives you kind of a broader look at what your fonts want to be. There's serif and sans serif. The difference between serif and sans serif, serif has a whole bunch of little tags on the end of each letter. So if you look at Robotoslab right here, it has R, and then there's the little tags on the R and on the B. And people have decided that it makes these letters easier to read. That's why you see it on academic papers and such. But it's a style choice. Meanwhile, sans serif does not have those tags. Typically, I like sans serif because it's a little more casual, but serif is always an option. Like, I really do like the Robotoslab font. There's also display, handwriting. You probably won't use monospace, but you might. And so in my font journey, let's say I'm looking for a handwriting font. Language, it's going to be in English, so no problem with that. And font properties, I can go and, really look for exactly what I want. I can be like, hey, I want it super slanted, and I want it really wide, and it says there's none of those. But yeah, and so you can really look for exactly what you need. But I don't really need that. I'm just looking, and let's say I like Patrick Hand. I'm like, okay, let's look more into Patrick Hand. Okay, cool. So this is showing me for the preview, I can now do something a little more specific. Does this font work? You can like put in a paragraph or exactly what your headings will look like. You can determine the size, all of that, and now we can get a look at what glyphs we have to again make sure that we have all the ones we need. This is pretty robust. It even has like all the glyphs with accents and phonetic symbols on it. So this is a pretty robust font right here. So it looks like this is going to have everything that I need from it, which is good. And if I like it right now, boom, I can just select it. And we'll talk about this list in a second, but now it's there, and I don't have to worry about that anymore. It's selected. So now I can keep reading about its, license. You can make sure that it has that open font license, which says commercial or otherwise, but you can't sell it, which makes sense. And then this is my favorite section, popular pairings with Patrick Hand. So this determines, hey, so I want to use Patrick Hand, what will it look good with? So this takes some of the guesswork out of font selection. There's a whole theory behind font selection, and now I can just kind of circumvent it and look and see what other people do. So so right here, the spectacle before us, this looks like it's lobster with Patrick Hand. Lobster is the display, and Patrick Hand is the body text. I can look at that and be like, oh, you know, okay, cool. Let's see what else is here. This is Patrick with Open Sans, Roboto, one of my favorites. Lato, Source Sans. Let's see. Let's say I want Patrick Hand as my. That's really casual. Let's do Roboto because I like Roboto. So here I have a nice picture. I can be like, okay, this is what it's going to look like. Sweet. So now with Roboto, you see it's in blue there, and I'm going to add that also to my list. So if you're in somewhere like WordPress or Elementor, you have both of these font names, and that's all you need. You then go into your font selector, and then it's a drop-down menu, and you go and you select both of those things. For your headings, you want Patrick Hand. For your paragraph text, you want Roboto, and you're done. Now, if you're in an HTML or CSS setting, then you have to take these fonts and you have to embed them into your document. So we're going to go and we're going to look at this embed link or tab, and it's going to give you these two boxes. The one on top, this is your link. This you put in your HTML page in your header section, and this is just a link telling your HTML document to go to this website, find this font, and use it. That's all that says. It's just a link. And then the second box, the CSS rules, that's in your CSS or your cascading style sheets page to then select that font and use it for specific things. So you say, hey, heading 2, I'd like that to be Patrick Hand. Paragraph tag, I'd like that to be Roboto. And you can individually select things like that. That's only if you're doing HTML and CSS. Otherwise, this list is fine. All you need to know is that you want Patrick Hand and Roboto. You go and choose that in your drop-down menu, and you're good to go. And now you have two fonts that look great together, and you know that they'll serve all the purpose that you need them. And so this is a great way to take a lot of work out of the font selection and trial and error, and you can just do it really quickly. All right, go choose your fonts.